Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? Houston, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Dallas, Austin, El Paso, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Pretoria. How is everybody doing? How are you doing, London, today? How are you doing? How are you doing? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are discussing issues that affect Europe's continental peace. President of these United States of America, Donald John Trump, has had a series of meetings in a couple of days aimed at reaching a lasting peace between the Russian Federation and the people of Ukraine. Starting with a meeting that he had with President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation, followed by the meeting that he had with Vladimir Zelensky, and then a meeting that he had with some European leaders, plus the UK. This has been very positive in my view. If you do not suffer from the problem of Trump derangement syndrome, I'll have to tell people that when Trump does things and you hear that Trump is attempting something, try to think of it this way. Try for a moment to forget that it's Donald Trump who's doing it, since clearly that matter that it's Donald Trump who's doing it could result in some schizophrenic reaction on your part. Try to imagine rather that it was Barack Hussein Obama who was doing it, and then see if your reaction to it would be the same. If your reaction to it won't be the same, then you already know that you are not having an honest, good faith criticism or disagreement with that actual policy. But with that said, I was so impressed by a lot of things that have been happening. Trump sometimes can be. Trump is a very bold individual. Trump has bold aims, bold things that he's trying to do, and some of these things, they, on the face of it, seem to be impossible. Like, for instance, his attempt to save the United States of America from total financial collapse and having no industrial base at all, after all of our presidents in the past 50 years in the US have given up the United States industrial advantage to China and India and Japan and Korea and Vietnam. And Trump is saying it ends here. And these are very bold and audacious goals. And on the face of it, they look impossible. I mean, when you speak to people, people think that these are impossible. Yeah. Even peace in Europe might seem impossible. And none of us have a crystal ball in terms of what's going to happen. But what I can tell you now is that in this entire war that we've had between Russia and Ukraine, we have never been at this moment where we are right now. Meaning that the warring parties have never been so close to each other in terms of engaging and talking in great earnest about what it is that one party wants from the other, what it is that the one party needs in order for the war to end. President Joseph R. Biden did not even try to negotiate a peace with Russia. Before Donald Trump came into power, the European leaders did not even try to negotiate a peace with Russia. Instead, they relied on war rhetoric, and they relied on calling Putin names and thinking that they're going to outspend him. But that has just failed. Russia is winning the war. In this video, I wanted to comment about how the nature, the tone, and the tenor of Trump's meeting with President Zelensky of Ukraine was very different to the tone and the tenor in, that they had in the meeting that they had earlier in the year, a meeting that I thoroughly reviewed. And I was very unhappy with Zelensky at the time, which was a minority view because a lot of people, whenever Trump is involved, the answer is often Trump is wrong. Let me tell you why. A lot of the times, a lot of the things that happen is Trump is wrong. Let me tell you why he's wrong. I disagree with that view. I thought that anyone who needs someone's help should conduct themselves like someone who has sense in their head, meaning that they understand that you need that person's help. Failure of which you're going to have a situation like the one that we had. Zelensky's conduct in this second meeting was more conciliatory, if you want to use that term, and more cooperative, and also more sort of differential towards Trump, who is clearly the leader in this relationship. And this is not to say that they didn't have tough and difficult words behind the scene, which is to be expected, but in public, in the public glare, in front of cameras, he conducted himself in a way that demonstrated that he understands finally where he is and who he is and who he is talking to. That is very, very, very important, friends. That is very important because this is going to help us to move to a peaceful resolution of this war. Ukraine might not get everything that they want. Russia might not get everything that they want. But no one gets everything that they want when you are negotiating a peace out of a war. The only way that anyone will get everything that they want is if there is actually military victory. I'm going to share some of the videos I shared about Zelensky on the description below so that you can watch what I said then and what I'm saying now to see what a big contrast we've seen. This is when this happened in March or last few days of Feb to now. There has been a big attitude adjustment on the side of Vladimir Zelensky. And with that said, the European leaders as well, all of them, they were exhibiting an attitude of deference towards Trump, uh, to acknowledge the leadership role of the United States of America in this peace process. Also, I think to acknowledge the fact that up until now, they had failed to get anything done, but the United States has been able to actually move the needle on this. This is very positive, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we will have a peaceful resolution of this war before the end of this year of our Lord 2025. It is even possible that we will have a peaceful resolution of this war way more quicker than that. I'm actually very happy to see this. I'm very, very, very happy. And for me, is that it's not so much that because I'm a Donald Trump supporter, which I am a Donald Trump supporter, I have not hidden that fact, but it's also the fact that it takes leadership to do what Donald Trump is doing. Scriptures say to us, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And it doesn't say that blessed are the ones who are criticizing the peacemaking process. It doesn't say that blessed are the armchair critics, but it says that blessed are the peacemakers. And peacemaking is costly, folks. It is costly. It will cost you something as a person who initiates peace. It's gonna cost you something to be someone who does. Leadership on its own is a costly proposition. You cannot be a leader of men, a leader of hundreds, a leader of thousands, a leader of millions, if you are not willing to pay the price of leadership. And I'm very glad for what has happened. I'm hopeful that more we're gonna see more and more um, this process moving more and more towards a peaceful resolution. From what I'm hearing from the White House is that the next step in this process will be a meeting between the two presidents of the warring parties at a location to be disclosed. The meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky. Then they can bilaterally, man to man, iron out their differences and find a way of stating what it is that they want, what they can compromise on, what they can't compromise on. And then the following meeting will be between President Trump and President Putin and President Zelensky. This is very, very good, folks. To be able to get President Putin and Zelensky in the same room is very, very good. And I do not understand anyone who is saying anything negative about this other than the mindless and schizophrenic hatred of Donald Trump. But folks, let me know what you think on the comments below. I don't really care that you hate Trump. Assume that it's been done by your favorites. I don't know who your favorite is. Maybe your favorite is Bill Clinton, one of the most loved presidents of the United States of America, loved by both the right and the left. Assume that this was initiated by Angela Merkel. Assume that it was initiated by Desmond Tutu or Nelson Mandela, or put whatever name that you folks love so much, and then judge it how you would judge it if a person that you liked was actually doing it. Yeah. Until then, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm feeling very good about this. Let me know what you think. Cheers.